Okay, friends, if you're seeing this, then this is the version that finally made it, because I must have recorded this like a trillion times. I wanted to give my thoughts on WoW Remix, mostly because I think feedback is important. The fact that Blizzard is recognizing that people don't like 5v5 in Overwatch, and they're considering 6 versus 6, mostly because people complained, I think is an indication that now is a better time than ever to make these kinds of videos, share your thoughts. So I wanted to just do just that. Before I quickly get into why I liked Remix, I wanted to start by explaining Plunderstorm, which came before Remix. Plunderstorm was an event where you were PvPing, sort of like Fortnite. It didn't really have much to do with World of Warcraft, other than maybe the characters. The game didn't feel like World of Warcraft, the abilities didn't feel like World of Warcraft, and I think the response also was not happy about it. My experience was I couldn't stand it. I was trying to kill my character as quickly as possible, just to get into the next match, so I could reach the level cap, get the mount, and never queue for it again. That seemed to be a general consensus for a lot of players that were playing Plunderstorm. I have footage and pictures of people saying, while we're waiting for the match to start, "This sucks. What's the fastest way I can kill myself to start the next match? What's the fastest way to collect coins? Blizzard, I can't stress this enough. We were min-maxing how to stop playing your game. That's what we were literally trying to minimize the amount of time playing and maximize our efforts so we no longer had to play. That seems like a very strong metric for a failed attempt at something. Not to say there should be shame associated with that, but I think that goes to show that didn't quite hit the mark. If you compare Plunderstorm now to Remix, I don't really see anybody complaining about Remix. It seems to be unbelievably popular. The queue times are unbelievably short. No matter what I queue for, I'm in very quickly. I have not really experienced much toxicity at all in Remix, truth be told. It's very common in regular WoW, but it seems like a lot of those things, and there are other reasons why I think Remix is successful, but just gauging the social atmosphere is a good way generally to determine the success of a game. And if everybody seems to be in a good mood, generally it's because everybody's having a good time. If you compare that to regular WoW, where there is also a bigger player base, there seems to be a little bit more tension. If you compare that to Overwatch, where it seems to be very high stakes, high tension, and yes, it's PvP, I understand that, but Overwatch wasn't always as bad as it is now. But I think the reason why it's worse than it's ever been is because people, for the most part, are addicted, but they're not having fun. I think it's the same thing with League of Legends. I think people are addicted, but they're not having fun. And that's why they're taking it out on each other. If you compare that to Plunderstorm, or not Plunderstorm, but Remix, it seems like people are having fun. People are pleasant. Not just that, people are literally willing, they're trying to find opportunities to carry people. Because it's fun to be so powerful. I think Remix was a very good example of what happens if we completely throw out the ethics of what's considered fair and completely focus on what's fun. And while that may not always work for every model of Blizzard gaming, I certainly think that methodology of, I don't care about fairness, just what's a fun experience, is something that's worth considering moving forward, especially when we start making variations of WoW like we've done now, with Season of Discovery, with Remix, with Plunderstorm. If we can really lean into the idea of nothing else matters except what's fun, I think that will really help the longevity of not just WoW, but these variations of World of Warcraft. What Remix offered, and this is the core, in my opinion, of to why Remix was so unbelievably successful. It's because, unlike Plunderstorm, which was just a means to an end, I'm only doing it to get the mount, Remix, besides the awesome mounts that I originally started because I wanted the mounts, I wanted the transmog, I wanted to experience it, but this is where it differs, and this is the core. The journey is fun. When you reach the end game and you've gotten all your BOA gear, you've killed Garrosh, you have your shoulders, you have your mount, you have all the transmogs, you still want to play because you just feel like a god. You feel unbelievably powerful. It's just fun to go into an LFR and just nuke everything and just run at breakneck speed, just spinning, whirlwinding, and just watching raid bosses melt like butter. That experience is very unique, and it's not something you get to experience all the time in WoW. It is possible to experience it all the time in WoW, though, and this is where the brilliance of Remix comes in. Mythic Raiders, my friends that I don't play with, but that are my friends, raid very high-level mythics. They do very high-level mythic dungeons, and they play how we play Remix all the time. They never have to worry about their health bar. They're unbelievably powerful. They get to feel like a god amongst men. When they queue up for a lower-level mythic, they don't worry about the healer. The healer's running with the rest of us, and they're already fighting the second boss. They've pulled the entire dungeon. They're AoEing everything down. Their screen is filled with numbers. So what Remix allowed, this is the brilliance of Remix. Remix allowed the most casual of players to get that end game World of Warcraft experience in like a 4-hour window. And that was the brilliance of it. If nothing else is to be taken from the success of Remix, you're giving players the opportunity to experience what like getting the best gear in the game feels like. What all those efforts is for. Without having to dedicate 6+ months of your time to getting the highest end mythic gear. Because in order to get geared like a lot of my friends, they play it like a job. They really do. They dedicate a lot of time and effort, including time when they're not playing, to learning fights, to strategizing their gear, to min-maxing gems and enchants and upgrades. And like so, a lot is involved to have that experience in traditional WoW. So Remix essentially allowed you to have that experience without having to dedicate so much of your time or investment. And while we don't get to keep it, while we don't get to keep that experience like my friends do, that raid, it gave us a taste for it and said, is this something you're interested in? This is available all the time if you work harder for it. But people didn't know that because they never had that experience. But that's, again, just to repeat myself, the brilliance of Remix. It allowed people to know a part of the game they didn't know existed. And I guess one more addition to that, one more add-on to why Remix is so brilliant, is it didn't just allow me to feel what playing a Warlock at endgame felt like. I'm a Warlock main. So let's say I never have done like mythic raids before. I could still experience what playing a Warlock felt like because of Remix. That's great. Like, oh, look at that. I'm crushing it as a Warlock in Remix. So if I were to really apply myself in regular WoW, I could feel like this. But it allowed me to even play a class I've never played, a warrior, a priest, a shaman, something I was too afraid to touch because I can't play this class and get thrown into a dungeon where people are expecting me to keep them alive and I barely know what the abilities do. It's too intimidating. But in Remix, these special abilities that make you so overpowered, they buffer you. They give you this padding. So even if you make a mistake, people don't die. So you can understand the fluidity of the class. You can understand your purpose in a raid position. You can understand your purpose as a healer, your purpose as a tank. And even if you're screwing up in Remix, it's okay because no one's dying. Other people are carrying the load. The abilities, your meteorites, your fears, your healing, your abilities are healing other players. It carries the load. So while you're learning the mechanics, while you're learning your class, you're learning your purpose, your role in a raid environment, you don't have to stress about being called out. You don't have to stress because everybody's more chill, because everything's fluffier, everything's more fun. It's more... So it gives you a taster. It's essentially... What Remix essentially is for WoW is it's the... Can I taste what like Rocky Road tastes like? And they give you the little flavor over the thing so you can see what Warrior tastes like without investing and buying the actual cone of, when you go to Baskin Robbins. That's what it was. It was a taste. It was a tester. It was essentially... Pick a flavor of class, test the class, see if you like it. If you like it, you can really apply and actually play it in regular WoW. And I think that is brilliant. To summarize, I guess, the brilliance of Remix was it gave you the full WoW experience in a very short timeline and said, this is what WoW has to offer if you're interested. And you can do it too. It takes longer, but... If you like Remix, that already means you fell in love with the journey. So now the journey is just an even greater journey. You thought this was fun. Wait till you experience it, where nothing really changes, Everything just gets more powerful. You don't lose it. There's not a clock running the timer out. Like, you're going to lose these abilities. It is fun. I love playing my warrior. I will miss the meteorites. I will miss the fears and the fires and all the blinking. You could blink on a warrior. You could use sprint on a warrior. You could use all these crazy abilities. I will miss it, but in the end of the day, my warrior is still there. Garunk, who is named after Elden Ring. But the memories that I made with him will still be there, and I'll still be able to carry that character through retail, and I'm excited to do that in the War Within. And I think that this should be a huge indicator of, or if this is an indicator of what's to come in the future, of the way Blizzard can transition new players or onboard new players to World of Warcraft. I think that this is a very hopeful way to go about it. So I guess it's just a long-winded way to say I enjoyed Remix. But it's more than that. It's essentially, Remix works as a great onboarding. It's a great way to get people that have never played WoW to experience what endgame content feels like without having to invest too much time. And I think that in itself is the brilliance of Remix. Last thing, if I can make a request, for the love of Christ, if anyone wants to share this, can we please get Legion Remix? I cannot imagine a more fun expansion than Legion Remix. Give us all the new crazy artifact weapons, new druid bear skins, new sick glowing warglaives. Give us like variations to the Mage Tower, but like a remix variation. I think the community would lose their mind. I can't imagine anyone that would say we don't want Legion Remix. Legion Remix would be so off the wall with colors and fun and crazy legendaries. Just a thought. Just a thought. Put it out there to the two people that see this. If anyone watched this far, thank you for watching. If you're interested in Twitch, I have a Twitch which you could follow. Nolly the Gnome is my Twitch. The links will always be in my bio. If you want to like the video or share it with some friends or any support you're willing to do. I don't make money off this. This is just like, it's a hobby. But I also have a Discord. If you want to join the Discord, hopefully if we can get a few people to join, maybe we can start running dungeons together. I'm just sort of trying to curate an environment where I can play games to have fun, not focus on stressing out about games. They're not supposed to be stressful. So I'm hoping to eventually build a community where people can join the Discord that just want to have fun. They just want a game. They don't care about how many times they die or start over or whatever. You just looking to have fun. So link to the Discord's in the bio. Link to the Twitch, as always, is in the description. All that jazz, razzmatazz. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. See you guys next time. Nolly the Gnome out.